I would name, even though beyond COVID, is that we actually adapted quite well to the pandemic already in the beginning. Even though the situation changed dramatically, we found new ways of cooperation, new ways of networking also. I mean, with all the difficulties which come along, but still I think we adapted quite well, and we were quite active and did not leave our work out because of the pandemic, and also thinking during the pandemic, beyond the pandemic.
It was a big success that the European Union could agree on a new target for climate policies. So climate change is an important issue, and also in the recovery package, climate change has an important role to play.
I think following up on that, what was striking to me is that, while geopolitics has always been very much the language of power, probably very likely, if not directly likely, because of the concerns linked to the pandemic, I think this, kind of set of geopolitical preoccupations extended much further than the usual objects of geopolitical concerns to questions also of health, human security more broadly, but also questions of inequalities, which I think is very striking.
The biggest success story was that the ratification process of the Treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons has been finished, and the treaty will enter into force the beginning of 2021.
To me, at the beginning of this year, I was extremely worried about a potential war between Iran and the United States. This year began with the targeted assassination of Iran's highest military general, and the fact that no war occurred in 2020 between the United States and Iran is, to me, a success story, even though it is sad that this even has to be mentioned.
I must say it was really the entry into force, or rather the ratifications, that reached the number 50 at the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. About a year and a half ago, no one could have foreseen that. There was a poll taken amongst all of the experts in disarmament and non-proliferation, and they sort of said, oh, no, it's going to take at least another 3 or 4 years. Well, lo and behold, on 24 October last year, on United Nations Day, Honduras was the 50th state to deposit its ratification, which means the treaty will come into force in January 2021. That's very, very exciting.
I would like to refer, probably more from a transatlantic perspective, the election victory of Joseph Biden in the United States, a bit late this year, but still very important, as it can represent international paradigm shift in peace and security. It should hopefully lead to the return of multilateral engagement also across Europe, including the resumption of arms control, and more comprehensively and inclusively in the field of security cooperation.
If we think about 6 Western Balkans foreign ministers jointly advocating and calling for the EU to basically exclude Western Balkans from some of the rules that were introduced initially for third countries and that have put Western Balkans in a difficult position.
Besides the COVID-19 pandemic, which shaped the last year, there were many success stories. In my point of view, the victory of Joseph Biden in the US elections is a huge success story in 2020. It brings hope and a better future, which will be shaped by effective multilateralism and stronger international cooperation.
According to recent data, the Chinese economy seems to have recovered from the deep economic recession in the first quarter of this year, and being the second biggest economy in the world, this has generated a significant stabilizing effect on the region and on the global economy as a whole. However, from a geopolitical point of view, the resulting increased self-confidence of China should be considered too.
For me, what was the biggest success story of the Belarusian protest movement this year was the immense level of solidarity among Belarusians themselves. They gathered millions of dollars to support those who were unfairly fined, who were injured, who were arrested and detained. They also went on strikes. They also left their jobs just in protest to what was happening in the country, to what is still happening there. And one can really speak about a new national identity emerging in Belarus this year.